All right, we're here with the third video of the day. We're going to talk about some of the protesting that happened last night, kind of just over the weekend a bit. But first, we got from the Washington Post, a mentally ill man, a heavily armed teenager, and the night Kenosha burned. A biased article by the Washington Post. Cast by conservatives as a battle between Antifa agitators and a right-wing patriot, this summer's deadliest protest-related incident was not quite what it seemed. Kenosha, Wisconsin. Anti-police brutality demonstrators were converging on Kenosha from all over Wisconsin for a second night of marches. An armed right-wing group had put out a call for patriots willing to take up arms and defend our city tonight from the evil thugs. Joseph Rosenbaum, depressed, homeless, and alone, didn't belong to either side. He had spent most of his adult life in prison for sexual conduct with children when he was 18 and struggled with bipolar disorder. That day, August 25th, Rosenbaum was discharged from a Milwaukee hospital following his second suicide attempt in as many months and dumped on the streets of Kenosha. So the guy already had a mental health issue. And he had a bunch of bad conduct with children. Sounds like this guy was pretty bad and he's got some serious issues. And yeah, maybe it's an issue with the mental health industry and the fact that they just want to, just throw drugs at people instead of actually helping them with their problems. Maybe that could be a core root issue to why Joseph Rosenbaum is so disturbed. But it doesn't really justify his actions of what he did that night. He was seen trying to roll a dumpster on fire to a gas station, possibly trying to blow it up. Who knows, killing possibly hundreds. We could have seen hundreds die that night instead of just, 2? 3? His confrontation hours later with Kyle Rittenhouse, a heavily armed teenager who had answered the call for patriots, kicked off a chain of violence. He didn't really answer a call for patriots. He was defending the business he was at and helping people nearby by giving them medical attention and putting out fires. So, Washington Post, can you try not to claim Kyle Rittenhouse as just some crazy right-wing nut and probably a white supremacist that you're trying to claim, even though, Biden tried to claim it and now he's being sued. Oh. Says his confrontations, kicked off of a chain of violence, the deadliest of the summer, that left Rosenbaum 36 and Anthony Huber 26 dead. A third victim, Gage Grosskreutz 26, lost a chunk of his right bicep, but survived. Within hours, the three men and the teenager who shot them were assigned roles in the country's churning partisan drama. On the right, Rosenbaum, Huber, and Grosskreutz were cast as Antifa foot soldiers bankrolled by shadowy forces and determined to set fires and spread anarchy. No, I think they're useful idiots is what they are. They're not, maybe some of them are part of the Antifa organization. Maybe he was. Maybe he just really liked just destruction and anarchy. And maybe he was a socialist. I don't know, maybe they were socialists. Maybe they wanted to be a part of this. Maybe they wanted to destroy the system and they're like, oh, hey, let's go riot. Let's go destroy the system. I don't know what their actual motives were for being out there, but why were they out there condoning this violence? Why were they out there helping destroy property? And I don't know. I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered that these people probably won't answer. And people at the Washington Post are going to run defense for them. It says on the left, the three shooting victims, all of them white, were celebrated as anti-racist martyrs battling armed vigilantes who had coalesced to support police departments accused of racism and brutality, even though they had just attacked a 17-year-old kid who was just defending himself. One of them seemed to be a misunderstanding because Rosenbaum had seemed to have mistaken him for somebody else. And There's also a few other things that also look a little sketchy, like, I don't know, maybe Kyle Rittenhouse being shot at first from somebody behind him, which caused him to turn around, and then caused him dog barking. I don't know if you can hear it at all. But, yeah. Kyle then had to turn around, and then there's Rosenbaum. Tried to grab his gun. And, you shouldn't be trying to grab someone's gun, and then, he ended up getting shot. Kyle thought he was in danger. He was being chased by people. And then after that incident, he gets chased by even more people. He took the shots on Rosenbaum, started running away, came back around to see if the dude was okay, realized he was in really bad condition, and called the police himself to try to get him medical attention. And then you're just going to try to blame this kid. It's so sickening. Says the fight has spilled into this year's presidential campaign, with President Trump blaming left-wing extremists for the violence in Kenosha and elsewhere. Well, you know what? They've done over $2 billion worth of damage, so I think he's right in his criticism of them. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa. He fumed during Tuesday's debate. Former Vice President Joe Biden called Antifa an idea, not an organization, and accused white supremacist groups of fomenting rest. But it's not them. It's left-wing groups just trying to go out, and then they start rioting. They start protesting for police injustice. And then when the nighttime comes, they burn everything to the ground. They burn minority businesses to the ground, destroying their lives. And is that okay? No. That article is just making me angry. I think we just needed to get off of it. It's just nothing but bias and nothing, just trying to run defense for these people who are clearly wrong. And these people that are out here, most of them that are rioting, have all these other different charges against them. Like, I don't know, arson or burglary or robbery or, I don't know, kidnapping or, I don't know, sexual abuse or, I don't know, you get the deal. They all have priors. We got from Kiro 7, though, from last night. Police protesters arrested after graffiti, dispersal order, and explosives thrown towards officers. Multiple protesters were arrested Saturday night after police gave a dispersal order to a group they said caused extensive property damage to a business, while marching and later had thrown explosive toward officers. Yeah, there's video of them. You can see them attacking a Starbucks, and a bunch of windows broken in, graffiti everywhere, and then you see fireworks going off on the inside. Who knows what other kind of explosives could have gone off inside. The protest had begun early in the day and was quiet for the most part, which they usually are in the morning, and then when the night comes, they just burn everything to the ground, because that's when the rioters know that they're safe to, because they're under the guise of, like, BLM and whatever, and Antifa, where politicians are saying it's just an idea, not an organization. They don't think it's real. It's a myth. Yet $2 billion worth of damages. Says, but later changed when police said a Metro bus was spray painted with graffiti on Broadway near East Mercer Street. Police said one person also spray painted a bank. More graffiti was also found on other businesses near Harvard and Olive Streets. And just after 9 p.m., police gave a dispersal order after they said more property damage was done. Law enforcement said explosives were thrown toward officers, and that's when multiple arrests were being made, which is usually fireworks at the start. But it starts with fireworks, then it goes into an incendiary and Molotov cocktails. As we've seen Molotov cocktails being thrown at groups of police officers already, which that can horrifically maim people for the rest of their lives. That is some serious stuff. You don't want to be burned alive. So to then throw a Molotov cocktail at a group of police officers, that's... You got some balls, I gotta say, at the very least. Some crazy, crazy balls. It says just before 9:30 p.m., police said the group of protesters returned to Cal Anderson Park. Police tweeted that they blocked the 1300 block of 11th Avenue East as officers made additional arrests. We got hundreds of Trump supporters gather in D.C. for a hashtag walkaway rally. We have hundreds of Trump supporters gathered in Washington, D.C. Saturday for a hashtag walkaway rally to support the president and celebrate those who have walked away from the radical left. The purpose of this event is to get the silent majority to show we are not going to be silent anymore. We are going to stand up. We are going to fight for our country. We're going to fight against the radical left because freedom in America is worth fighting for. Brandon Struck, a founder of the Walk Away campaign, told the Daily Caller. And now they're trying to label him as a white supremacist, even though there's black people, Latinos, just all over the place in the hashtag Walk Away campaign. Because, yeah, the left has just gone insane. They've radicalized themselves just for destruction and chaos and just to bring fear down upon the masses. And you want to know what that's pretty much called? I don't know. Fascistic behavior. You claim you're anti-fascist, but yet you just do fascist behavior. It's almost like, I don't know, maybe you were created during Germany a long time ago to help a certain person get into a dictatorship eventually. Yeah, people don't seem to know that, and yet they then think Antifa's okay. Yep. Breaking: counter-protesters clash with police at pro-Trump rally in Washington, D.C. BLM protesters clashed with the U.S. Park Police at a pro-Trump rally near the Washington Monument on Saturday, where Brandon Struck's hashtag Walkaway campaign held their unsilent majority march and women's town hall. U.S. Park Police were quickly on the scene to quell the protesters and made at least 2 arrests as they detained the counter-protesters. See? It doesn't matter. The thing is, hashtag Walkaway isn't really even about Black Lives Matter. Why is Black Lives Matter even there? Like, hashtag Walkaway is about going against the left. So then Black Lives Matter comes up to disrupt them? What? It makes no sense. You would think it'd be like, oh, okay, maybe we'll see, what some of these black people have said about maybe walking away from the left. What's going on? No. You're apparently against us if you're against the left. If you're against these politicians, you're not on our side, so we need to stop you. Okay, BLM, I see what your motives are here. Okay. We got Andy No on Twitter. Antifa rioters in Seattle smashed up a Starbucks and threw an explosive inside tonight. Video by Katie Daviscourt. Hashtag Antifa riots. Antifa are really angry. Videographers recorded them breaking into businesses. I fear what they will do next to escalate violence against press who dare to record them. This is from Nobody Pays. By letting streams and photographers have free reign inside the demo, there is a literal fascist filming the block. This really needs to stop. Yeah, I guarantee you they're gonna start going after the press now. Any independent press, anyone who's filming, because you can't have this stuff shown while they destroy everything. Although word of mouth is gonna spread real quick, and people are gonna get real fed up faster, especially when the media just completely stops covering it, which they are. You'll get it in maybe some local papers, but that's about it. It's starting to become normalized in the mainstream media. They stopped caring. It's all about that Trump bump. Got to keep that Trump negative ride going because that money comes in. The money. Anyways, media is pretty garbage. We all know that. I would say, maybe try to find some independent journalists, some independent investigative journalists, people actually willing to go out onto the scene of these riots and are probably going to start risking their lives now in order to film this stuff. So, because I can't suggest you guys be reading stuff like the Washington Post, because this is an awful article that just basically tries to sympathize with a child abuser and then try to claim a 17-year-old kid is just a white supremacist, even though it was all self-defense and he was in Kenosha just helping, putting out fires, defending a business, and he got attacked for pretty much a misunderstanding. Yeah. Yep. It's what we have to work with. Well, this is the final video of the day. I'll see you then tomorrow. Bye.